Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today we're doing something a little bit different with the Arena Directs coming up this weekend. I want to walk everybody through kind of how I build a sealed pool, especially in a format where I'm a lot more comfortable, and play some rounds as well. So we're in one of the limited preliminary events on MTGO. Also a good way to start padding my qualifier points so I can play in some of the larger MOX tournaments. Not going to do any this weekend. Don't really have any prep with Modern or Legacy. It was a busy week. I was trying to get prepped with Modern, but I had a lot to do, a lot to film, a lot of projects to get done at school. So, yeah, I'm much more well-versed just off the bat with Sealed. Or I guess a couple weekends ago, right after the Pro Tour, went on a bit of a run with the win a box for collector boxes. I ended up with 3 back-to-back. And it was after getting some help with my limited play from a couple of my teammates. Shout out Lucas Ducot and Adam Edelson for helping me out there. And yeah, so I just want to give some tips, kind of walk everybody through how to build a sealed deck, especially in this format, because it's really different from the draft format where you want to be tribal if you can. You don't really have the option to go tribal. Sometimes you'll get a busted tribal deck in sealed. Of course, there's a big luck aspect of that, opening bombs and whatnot too, but generally you kind of have to get a little scrappier, and it can be kind of hard to do, and overall it makes for a much more balanced sealed format where it's not so polarized around the good archetypes that have the tribal synergies and the bad archetypes that aren't as pushed. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We got 3 more minutes till it starts, and it's a little different because this is best of 3. Arena Directs are best of 1, but you want to get involved and try and win a box. It's a lot of fun, and if you play a lot of sealed, then hey, you can make some money off of it. So gonna be walking you guys through just how I kind of approach this sealed format, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. All right, deck construction now starting. So let's take a look at what we've got here. Let's try and move all of these differently colored hybrid cards over to where I can see them. I did get a look at some of the cards we started with, and it's looking like a nice one. Over here, what I like to do at the start is just see if there's anything that I'm like, okay, well, I really want to play this, like a bomb rare or something like that. I don't know if you guys have looked over here, but let's just sort by rarity. We've got a few green rares. These are solid. Mutable Explorer has been kind of underperforming from where I had it originally, but still a solid card. Just not like a hack one, pick one slam if we're talking about draft. This card, pretty solid, also underperformed a little bit. It seems like really, really strong, but at the end of the day, sometimes it is just a 2-mana 2/2. This card is insane. Ajani, also insane. I actually haven't got a chance to play with Ajani yet, but I can assume it's insane. I also over here in the uncommon section see a lot of good blue 2-drops. If we do have enough merfolks to kind of make these Silvergill mentors work, but let's go back to sorting by color and kind of separate the good from the bad. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller just so we can, again, grab everything over here. Kind of annoying the way it sorts this with all of the differently 2-colored cards, but that's okay. We'll remove these basics, and yeah, everything else is going to be kind of done down here. So starting with the white cards, got some good stuff, and sort by color down here as well. I'll kind of let you guys know what I'm looking for as we put everything in here. Right now, I'm just kind of taking all of seeing which cards are playable, which cards aren't, kind of where they're playable. We do have kind of enough white cards for a good white deck. Also, what I did notice over here is I have a lot of the hybrid cards, which can be super nice, especially in sealed, kind of still giving you enough for tribal synergies when you otherwise wouldn't have them. But yeah, blue looks super deep. It looks like I have a lot of good blue stuff. Starting with just off the bat, a lot of ways to remove creatures from the board, which is really important. Also, a little bit of card draw here, but if you just look at this, compared to any of our other colors, I don't see a single removal spell in red. In black, we have a few. We have Bogslither's Embrace, Nameless Inversion, Blight Rot. Our black looks pretty strong, but not super deep. Not a ton of good black cards. But yeah, blue has kind of a lot of interaction, so gonna be looking to play blue. Also in green, I have one Assert Perfection, and I have these Guiltleaf Embraces, Chomping Changelings, and Unforgiving Aim, which, they can be solid interaction depending on the matchup, but they're not going to be that all of the time. And then I also, in blue-white, I might just start by taking a look at what I can make with a blue-white deck, because we have a lot of blue and white Changelings, which are going to go really well with these Silvergill Mentors. We'll see if we end up playing these Unwelcome Sprites. It's just a pretty strong card, so probably going to end up in here, especially in sealed deck. But our blue and white looks super, super deep. So let's just get this stuff in here to start, and it doesn't feel like I'm missing out on anything insane. All my bombs are kind of in white. I can play Tam if I want. We'll see if we want that here. But yeah, now that I have kind of what I generally am going to want to do, this feels like I'm probably going to end up in blue-white. For this specific deck, I think it's kind of unlikely that I go anywhere else. Like, I don't really want to be a Changeling Wayfinder deck. I don't have a ton of stuff I want to splash. This one is pretty straightforward, so maybe not the best example to build with, but yeah, my blue and white just look above and beyond better than everything else. So let's sort by mana value. You can see we've got a lot of 3-drops, so let's start by cutting some of the weaker stuff from the deck. Stratosaur is fine, not something we're necessarily going to need here, though. Glamourmite probably going to get cut as well. Over here, looking at our tribal stuff, there's not really a reason to have these Kithkin in. They're pretty good with the Convoke stuff, but doesn't look like we're going to need a ton of help there. So I'll start with these out of the deck. Maybe they get added back in. We're also not missing a ton of 2-drops, which is sometimes a reason I end up with the Gold Meadow Nomads in particular. There's also this Reaping Willow in the sideboard, but I don't think we have really any synergy with it, even though it is a powerful card. We don't have any ways to blight in blue-white, or at least in this blue-white deck. But we can kind of separate out the removal spells so we get a better look at what our curve actually is. But still a little light from where I want to be. All of the decks that I was doing really well with, it was kind of like removal tribal more than anything. Just ton of removal spells, ton of great stuff. A ton of removal spells and not even a ton of bombs, just a lot of removal. Looters and card draw have been really, really strong in sealed for me, which is another reason I imagine this Unwelcome Sprite is going to be a little better than normally is. Although we do kind of have enough to make like a full Merfolk deck here, at least from what it looks like. Just let's see how many of our creatures are Merfolk versus not Merfolk. So right now we have this kind of a creature. This, not a Merfolk, but definitely something we're really going to want to play in any blue deck. This card is just nuts. Then we have these 2 Unwelcome Sprites, a Timid Shield Bearer, and Tam as other non-Merfolk creatures. So I think a good place to start, we do kind of have a lot of Merfolk synergy with 2 Silvergill Adepts and an Eclipsed Murrow. So we want to have quite a few Merfolk. So I think the cuts will probably be some of these non-Merfolk creatures. It's definitely not going to be the Rhymekin Recluse. That one is going to get in here regardless. That card is just really good. Let's take a look at how good these Unwelcome Sprites are actually going to be. And then I'm kind of thinking these are going to be the cuts, although Klachan Festival, pretty nice in sealed as just a way to use your mana late game. And then we also have quite a few Convoke spells, which it can be pretty nice with, as well as we have Eridu here too, which is kind of a Convoke spell. Probably not going to get a chance to flip this one unless we play Changeling Wayfinder or Foraging Wickermaw, but our deck kind of seems a little more on the aggressive side, so I don't think that's going to be something I want to do. But yeah, over here I kind of have the cards I'm considering cutting, but we do have a while. Usually I like to take a look at least a couple of decks, but I mean, this pool really does feel like there's not a lot else that we're going to be able to do. There's maybe something to be done with red. We do have a lot of big creatures, but I don't necessarily have enough removal that, like, a solid deck in sealed sometimes is just a lot of good removal, and then big creatures that draw you cards, like the Kolrath Zealot or Sourbread Ante gets a lot of value. We also have 2 looters. So I'm sure we could do something with red, but it just doesn't feel worth giving up, like, a Johnny and Eridu to try and build some sort of blue-red deck. Although blue-red is maybe something we could take a look at. We do have some good red stuff, and most of our removal is in blue. It's possible we could also be like a 3-color deck, but I don't really want to splash these double white mythics. And then we also would miss out on the Silvergill Mentor and Eclipsed Murrow. So it seems unlikely that's going to end up better. But yeah, let's take a look a little more at the deck we have here. I think Timid Shieldbearer is going to be the cut. At least one of the cuts here. The ability is pretty nice, but I mean, maybe we just have enough merfolks. Let's get a merfolk count real quick. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We won't count the Eclipsed Murrow. Or I guess we can for the Silvergills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 merfolks is a pretty solid number, but I just don't think the Shieldbearer is worth cutting a merfolk from our deck. I really want to have these online, although the ability is pretty good with the Silvergill Mentors. I don't know, maybe it's not an Unwelcome Sprite deck. Maybe we would rather have the buff to all our creatures than an Unwelcome Sprite in the deck, but we do need to make 4 cuts, so can't have everything here. Now, another option, we're probably going to have to go down on a 3-drop or 2. I'm kind of thinking the Tributary Vaulter is the worst one here. We do have some Convoke stuff, but we don't have the 2-mana 1/3, which is really where this card is at its best, is it's kind of like a combo with that card specifically in draft. And I think I'd rather have the value Flock Imposter gives, as well as just lifelink from the Prideful Feastlings. They're just a little bit beefier, which is something I want to have here. So I think Tributary Vaulter is going to be one of the first things to go. And just taking a look at the weaker 2-drops, the Wonderbrine Preacher I think is going to be pretty good here. But it's probably going to have to be a couple more 2 and 3-drops. I think all of these cards kind of in this area are pretty locked into the deck. We're going to want all the removal. We're going to want this card draw. And we're going to want the bombs. So, looking a little harder, I think the possibilities are Klachan Festival, perhaps a Prideful Feastling, perhaps a Flock Imposter. These other cards, I think, are a lot better. And then looking at our 2-drops, it could be... I think we're going to give Tam a shot here. I mean, we don't have a ton of stuff that we really want to protect. So maybe Tam just isn't as good as, like, being a merfolk or having this ability or this ability. Yeah, it kind of feels like, what am I really protecting with Tam here? Maybe, I guess Eridu. Eridu is a good one to give hexproof from all colors to. But I think it's still in the possibilities of stuff we cut, so we'll move it over there. Spikeling and Sneakling. I probably don't want to cut both of these just to keep my merfolk count up. I don't think it can be a... Once we get all the cards that it's possible we cut over here, I'm just going to move these as well. We're probably only going to be able to cut, like, 1 to 2 Merfolk cards. So we need to cut 3 cards here. I think this is a 27 land deck pretty easily. There's not really a way we have to take more advantage of that. But what does it make the most sense to get out of here? Now, we don't have a ton to do with the Flock Imposter. We have the Sky Swimmer. I guess we have 2 Silvergill Mentors, and it just protects. I think I do want the Flock Imposter in. It's also just nice to have a couple more flyers to go with kind of our plan of play big Convoke spells while flying over and sneak in enough damage. I think Timid Shieldbearer actually plays to that plan pretty well, and so does the Unwelcome Sprite. So we'll probably end up cutting one of these, and I think Tam is just honestly going to be worse than a lot of our other 2-drops. I'm going to get it out of here for now. Against a removal heavy deck, it could maybe come in, maybe a removal light deck. I'm not really sure when the best place to bring this in, but maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe this card is just too good. Maybe we can cut an Unwelcome Sprite as well as one of these 2. I think the Sneakling is actually going to be a little bit worse. Well, no, we have Unwelcome Sprites, so it's going to be kind of important to cast spells on their turn. Surveil 2 is a pretty big upside, so yeah, we'll do that. Cut the Feisty Spikeling, and need to make one more cut. Don't really want to go down on Merfolk anymore. What's our count right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 Merfolk. So kind of feels like it's between one of these 2 cards, although maybe Lachan Festival is enough better than... I don't know, I really don't want to cut a Merfolk, and I don't think it's better than any of our 2-drops. Although we do have 1, 2, 3. It is pretty nice with this. Also pretty nice to, like, invoke back to the hand, like with Flock Imposter and Erdu, and do some messed up stuff. But yeah, I really don't want to go down more Merfolk. So I guess another thing we could do here is, if we really want to keep both of these, just cut another non-Merfolk 2-drop, like the Shieldbearer or the Sprite. Shieldbearer just seems pretty strong, especially if we're adding the Klachan. We have a Johnny. Just getting through for enough damage to end the game at the end seems pretty strong. And again, I like want this Unwelcome Sprite. I don't know. This is maybe wrong. Maybe this card is too good, but all these other cards are things that I want to have access to in my deck. So I think I'm going to cut Tam. And if you really disagree, if you've had a lot of success with Tam, let me know. Call me dumb. Whatever you got to do. But yeah. Let's add in the basic lands. Make sure we get full art ones so we look cool. Oh, I guess we're going full art foil today. Okay, this is telling me to put 3 swamps in my deck. I will be putting 0 swamps in my deck. And 9, 8 in favor of blue. Does that make sense? We do have quite a bit more blue pips. So, yeah. I think we'll end with 9, 8 blue. Wish we had a dual land, because we have like these 2. But Ajani can get played a little later in the game. And yeah, pretty happy with this deck. Let's see what we can do. We've got some good cards in the sideboard as well. Maybe Crib Swap comes in, but probably not. I've been told by Lucas Juco, just don't put this card in your deck. And he's a lot better than me, so maybe I'll listen to him. We'll see. And then Aquatex Defenses could be nice against a more removal-focused deck. And yeah, let's give this a go. Before we get into the matches, I also do want to say, for those of you looking to play the Arena Directs, take your time with everything. Don't rush in your games. Really slow down and try to find the right play. And with your deck building too, you don't want to go too fast. You want to make sure you explore every option and give yourself the best chance you have to win. Because Arena Directs, you can lose a lot of money on them if you're just tilting and going through and keeping trying to win those boxes. I've definitely been through that, where I'm building my decks too fast, I'm playing too fast, and then, I mean, it's pretty easy to throw one game away in best of one, and then you get that second loss and you're just out. The second loss is often something you really couldn't control, where that first one is just, nope, played a little bit badly, lost a game. So you really gotta hunker down, play tight, take it slow. Best advice I can give you when playing in kind of a high stakes event like the Arena Directs. But yeah. With that being said, let's jump into the matches with this pretty sweet blue-white Merfolk deck. I know I was talking about how you can't get a tribal deck, but we kind of got there, so interested to see how this plays out. Let's get into match number 1 with a pretty good hand to start out with. Definitely keeping this one. Just try and oh, well, might not actually be a ton of play to this one. Looks like our opponent has put their entire sealed deck into... Okay. We got there. Yeah, looks like our opponent accidentally put their entire sealed deck in. So we'll see if they're going to want to put their deck together now and just play games 2 and 3, or if they're just going to concede the match. But not the best way to start this off. So might be a shorter than 4 rounds tournament this time around. We'll see. Another thing I will say that I don't think I mentioned during deck building is a lot of sealed is making sure that the cards in your deck actually go with your deck's game plan. So my plan here is I have a few flyers and I have a lot of ways to flood the board, which is why you saw me kind of put a premium on the Timid Shield Bearer, which is a card that's really good when you flood the board. And same with this Unwelcome Sprite. Like you saw me put a premium on this over the Tam, and it's because I think it's pretty important for this deck to have enough flyers to get over the top while you kind of stall out the board with these cheaper token makers. So yeah, it is important to try and have a game plan. You know, when you make a constructed deck, you're not just throwing the best cards in there. You want your cards to be synergistic as best you can, and you want... Like, another example of that is maybe if I had a deck, like maybe I end up in a green-white deck that just has a lot of self-mill. These Gold Meadow Nomads get a lot better there, and they're kind of at a premium there. Whereas normally another card I wouldn't necessarily want to be playing this Wanderwine Distractor, but I'd like to be able to find a 4-drop Merfolk off of my Eclipsed Murrow to kind of curve out into. So, yeah, just keep synergy in mind as much as you can when playing sealed, even if it's not the exact synergies that the format kind of has provided for you, of like these 2 color combinations that do this one thing, like green-white counters, green-white Kithkin, whatever it is. But yeah, now we can get back into it with another really, really good hand. We have a lot of good uncommons here, which is an important thing to have, because uncommons in this day and age are a lot stronger than commons. But we are going to get to play games 2 and 3 here, which is nice. Hopefully my opponent can still do well in this event, despite not having basically just auto-conceding game 1s. But, well, starting off pretty strong with a Thought-Weft Lieutenant. I'm going to go ahead and Behold a Merfolk. We'll show them this Silvergill Peddler with my Silvergill Mentor, and pass the turn back. Hopefully find a second white source for this Ajani at some point, but until then, we've got 3 lands and a bunch of 3-drops in hand, so can't be doing too bad. They do attack. I mean, I think I'm just okay with this trade. It's essentially a 2-drop for a 2-drop. That's going to keep buffing their guys, and I kind of would like to keep the board clear. Here, I'm just going to play out the Peddler, and maybe that way I can get some value from this Ajani next turn. He attacks with this. I also would like to wait on bouncing this until he kind of gets his creatures out of hand. But yeah, this is something I'm really happy to see. As long as there's no 2-drop that comes down as well. It looks like there's going to be. Yeah. Wow, that's pretty good here. So we're going to end up taking 5 damage. But opponent is down quite a few cards in their hand now, so we still have some pretty solid plays. Gonna just bounce that one out of here now that a couple of the counters are off of it, and have this 3/2 to block their 1/1s. So not hating my spot. See if they get a third color. See if they're doing anything on the splash. Doesn't look like it. So how likely is my Ajani to die if I just slam it here? Because the sooner we can slam this Ajani, the sooner it'll take over the game. But do I want to take a turn off and go like cleansing on this and play the Shield Bearer? That could be pretty nice. Or do we want to just pick this up to 4, hope my opponent is a little lower on gas? I think it's going to be worth it to take the time here. There's just like a few things that they could do that would punish us for getting a little too antsy on the Ajani. Let's see what they did with the down guard. They chose to put it on the bottom. Means they probably have at least one more solid spell. Pin Binding. That is a solid spell. We do luckily have an answer to it. Let's not take any time to do this. And gonna get in for 3. We'll leave the 2/2 back to block the 1/1s. And get in for a bit of damage here. But yeah, hopefully they don't immediately blow up this Liminal Hold. Chan Festival, sure. And Great Forest Druid. Well, they do have a ton of creatures, and it looks like they maybe have like a pump spell in hand or something like that. But I think now it's time to get this Ajani going. Let's just try and win the game with it. Like my opponent to flood out a little bit here. See, they're not attacking with everything, so that's a good sign. Am I gonna attack with everything? I do think I have to start getting in a little bit. Let's get in with these 2 and just try and trade some resources. Block there, and Kithkin for Kithkin, sure. Oh, maybe I should have just buffed there. I don't know, I guess we have the chance to get blown out, and I would like to develop my board a little more. Yep. We both make a Kithkin. I'll go for Silver Gill Mentor, Revealing Prideful Feastling, make a 1/1, and play out the Feastling. What is the ultimate on Ajani? Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is your life total. Okay. Any number of non-land permanent cards with mana value 3 or less from among them. Alright. So, basically get all of our 3 or less creatures onto the field. Here, we're probably just going to tick it up again, though. Now we can get in, I think, with these. And then leave 3 creatures back to block. Plus the Flock Imposter, should we need it. Yeah. Let's see what kind of blocks they make here. There, they don't want me to blow them up with the Shield Bearer, but I don't need to do anything here. Looks like they're going to make another 1/1. Opponent, that seems like a good idea. I will also make another 1/1. And just pass the turn back. Probably going to run out this Flock Imposter. Maybe we'll bounce the Rhymekin, so we can, yeah, we'll get that out of the way so they don't get to buy something back next turn. And see if they're getting in or not. Nope. So Let's go with this. Bounce our Rhymekin. And win the match. Looks like that was good enough. But yeah, our deck is pretty nice. Didn't even get to cast the card draw here. Johnny took over that game pretty easily. Shield Bearer also would have been better than Tam. But yeah, again, it's important to recognize your game plan. We know we're going to be able to make a lot of tokens, and it might be hard to get in on the ground, so the Shield Bearer really helps there. But yeah, we'll see you for the next match. Unfortunately, something went wrong with the recording for the first part of this game, but what you need to know is my opponent has some good rares. I also have some good rares. And yeah, I think I actually messed up this turn a little bit already. But just gonna end up doing this, getting rid of this guy, saving a Johnny to maybe kill a tap down Figure of Fable next turn. And yep, we have an Air-Do on top. So both our white mythics ready to go, and we're just gonna try and kill pretty quickly. Is going to be the plan here. Opponent also has a Pestered Wellguard in hand that we know about. The Adept Water Shaper is back near the top. And yeah, let's just see what they decide to go for this turn. They attack with the figure and don't level it up, then we're going to be able to kill it with a Johnny, which is nice. Probably be able to protect this Johnny too. But yeah, what I was talking about earlier is just the way our deck lines up. The Sprite and just having flyers in general work really well with these answers that don't last forever. Like, I don't really have a way of removing this from the board forever. Even like Blossom Bind doesn't really do it. I do have the one of Liminal Hold. All right. So they have now played a big flyer. And not attacking. Well, what you gonna do? Maybe they know about the Ajani somehow. Although I doubt it. So I could get in. I should definitely get in with at least the Disruptor. That's for sure. I could attack with everybody and try and activate this Timid Shield Bearer if they block, which would make it hard for them to really have any good blocks. They could trade this for this, but then they'd be taking 10 damage down to 6. I'd prefer them not to block and just us be able to bluff it. But I think if they do end up blocking, it's not like the end of the world. So we can just go ahead and I think I'm going to do it. Just swing with all. If I activate this turn, that's fine. And if not, I'd get to play Air-Do. But it looks like we're going to be activating it this turn. We can save the Air-Do for now. Deal them 10 damage, which we don't really want this game to go on ton of time, even though we have the Ajani, just because Figure of Fable starts to solo at a certain spot. But yeah, let's just see what they do. They go for a Spikeling, and I guess they'll probably play the Water Shaper again now. Now they'll get in with the Figure of Fable. Indestructible. No, they're still just passing it back. Okay by me. I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward. Get in with the Unwelcome Sprite and play another Giant Flyer. Now they have two things that they're forced to answer. We know about a Pestered Wellguard in hand, but they're not going to be able to... I guess they could Convoke to get a blocker this turn, but it might be a little too slow. Let's see if they have the ability to Convoke also. I mean, they are the blue-white deck, so probably somewhere in there. But even if they did play the Wellguard and Convoke something out, they'd still have to chump the Air-Do, which means they're still taking damage from the Sprite. But them playing their own Air-Do is basically the worst possible here. Maybe we can top deck a way out of this, but not quite yet. Jeez, that's really, really bad. Okay. What can we do about that? Can't transform Air-Do. Yeah. So we can go a Johnny plus. They have to trade. If they eat this, they go up to 9, take 5. So we have to just attack with this. That forces the trade. But they go up to 9 life. And then we'll just play our 2 spells post-combat. Kind of in a board stall, but that Pestered Wellguard is going to do a good job. And our Johnny's never going to get to -2. Kill anything. Well, I guess we'll just start by attacking. I mean, do we want to attack? I think so. I think this is a trade we're happy with. Maybe we can take over with a Johnny. Because we're going to be able to start getting in with the Sprite too now. Yeah, we'll plus a Johnny and play a Beastling. It was smart of them to trade with the Timid Shield Bearer. Maybe that was another reason for us to not go ahead and do that turn. Just try and advance our board a little more. Because, yeah, it seems like they're not too worried about this Sprite, which I guess they shouldn't be with the Pestered Wellguard. And invoking right away. Jeez. Their deck is good. Can't kill anything because of the Water Shaper. The Murrow Sky Swimmer, so now they have like 3 flyers. 2 flyers, sorry. But yeah, this Ajani is not quite doing enough, and we're just drawing more lands. So, I mean, we can't kill anything. Kind of forced plays here. Do we have any attacks? Also, no. This 3/4 is blocking everything. And this Figure of Fable is gonna take over the game pretty quickly now. We also can't kill the Pestered Wellguard, so they can just make a fairy every turn. Somehow better than my Ajani, but yeah, their deck is nice. I don't know, I guess I could have tried to prevent life gain. Just felt like them having the Erdu in play, they're going to be able to convoke stuff out. Didn't seem like something I want to do. They're attacking a Johnny. I think we're going to chump, and that way if we draw a removal spell, we can kill that and kill the Wellguard. With the Johnny's -2. And, wow, they have more plays to make. Gathering Stone, sure. Let's see what they name. Probably Merfolk. I mean, they've won a round. Do they have enough Merfolk to make that work? Doesn't look like they hit one here. They keep it on top, though. Terrifying. We find another Feastling. Really not doing a lot here. But we'll play it out. Do I have attacks now? So I attack with everybody. They eat that. And eat that. And trade. So they'd actually take 0 damage. And would get 2 free kills on my creatures. So not going to attack here. But the longer this goes, the more it is slipping away. They're playing it nice and slow. And again, we want to give a Johnny the chance to do something still. I think we should block here. Ah, their own Erdu. Feels like their deck's a... Well, both our decks are good. I can't be too upset. I will scoop, we'll scoop to their own Erdu, though. All right. So, yeah, I mean, feels like we're going to have to be kind of aggressive here to get our point across. It might be a crib swap matchup. I don't know. We just really need ways to get, like, the thing that gives their stuff indestructible. We really need to be able to get that off the field. I don't think it's necessarily a Clashan Festival matchup. I didn't see a ton of flying outside of their one big guy, so I think I am going to make this swap. Sorry, Duke. I'm playing the crib swap. And I think we want to be pretty aggressive here. Are there any other changes I want to make? No, I think we're all right. We didn't see a ton of removal. Maybe that's their deck's weak point. So we'll try and take advantage of our board early on. And yeah, possible I should bring in maybe the illusion spinners, just have more flyers. Play a little more and see what comes of it. This is a weird hand. Kind of does nothing unless we find at least one planes. And then we really need two to be good. Although, I can probably get by with just one. Maybe this Feastling should be something else. Kind of been underperforming here. I don't really have ways to buff it, which is kind of a big thing for the Feastling. I think I'm going to send this one back. I think I'm a little bit happier with this. I know I was talking about Crib Swap. I think it's going to be what gets sent to the bottom here. Throw that back and see what we can get done. Start with an island. Looking for our Silvergill 2-drops. Peddlers, maybe? I forget what they're called exactly. No Figure of Fable on turn 1 this time. Silvergill Mentor. Okay. So yeah, let's play that out. And, I mean, it's a turn late, but hopefully still going to be able to curve out. Let's see if they have a 3-drop. No 3-drop. Okay. Let's get in for 3. Maybe they have a flash creature. Maybe it's a counter spell. Okay if they counter this, or okay if they do nothing. Estered Wellguard. Sure. So, just gonna get in with these two and make that small and unable to block. And then I can go Erdu plus Preacher. Kind of want to get that off the board, but one fairy probably isn't going to be the end of the world. And we should hopefully be able to just tempo them out from here. See if they make their own Erdu again. So I probably shouldn't be blocking here and just should be pushing in as much damage as possible. Although getting the Wellguard off the field would be pretty nice. Yeah, I think it's just not a trade I can really resist. Okay, just the Percher is good for me here. This is going to let me get in with everybody and not have to use my Swat Away. Oh, that's a nice one. No. And yeah, I'm quite okay with I guess we could bounce the fairy token now. Do I care if it trades with my Silvergill Mentor? I think I'd rather just hold up my 2 removal spells. This 2-1 trading doesn't feel like it's going to be the big make or break. Swat Away also hits spells. Good thing to know about this card. So there's some Wrath that I don't think there is. There's just Winnowing. Winnowing wouldn't even be that good here. I think we can just say okay to that now. See what else they play. Sky Swimmer. Let's just Swat Away that. And presumably kill them with 5 power here. Alright. No. Attack you for 5. You're at 5. Kill you, and we'll take it to a game 3. So yeah, both of our decks are really, really nice. Another interesting thing here, I was thinking about this. Glamourmite can untap one of their creatures to make it no longer indestructible. Which might be a little too cute, but I kind of think this Feastling... I kind of think this Feastling should go here. It didn't feel like... gets a lot done in this matchup. Maybe we trade it out for the Volter and are just able to fly over a little better, maybe aggro them out a little better, and still have the same amount of merfolks. Okay, we have a nice curve, and we have some removal to back it up. So kind of hoping that our opponent has a similarly slow start. We don't want to see Figure of Fable. That's not Figure of Fable. I guess we're happy about it. Still don't love to see this one either. It's a very, very good card. Okay, we're getting in for 2. Passing the turn. We don't want to play this. We want to play the Preacher first. If they attack, we can just trade damage, and ours essentially has lifelink, which is nice. And then also rather trade this off. The Timid Shieldbearer does do a lot of work in our late game, at least from what I've seen so far. Alright, Feastling. That one is going to get bounced right away. We can gain some life and get in. They replay it, we can bounce it again. Or just add to the board a little more with the Wanderwine Distractor. Here's the Feastling again. I mean, this kind of feels like a good time to just play this out. And I think just pass. They're missing land drops, so I'll wait until my attacks are kind of unstoppable. Tributary Volter here. Fine. And Johnny is nice. Alright, so what do we want to do? I think we just want to go Shieldbearer and then cleansing the Feastling. And then we can get in with everybody and -3/-0 on the Trapper. Wanderwine Distractor is just so good at pushing damage. And then they really have no good blocks. I mean, they can have these two bounce off each other, but everything else would be a chump. And next turn, we can get this Ajani down, or we can just... Looks like... Where did they put the... They put it on the bottom. Makes sense. Ajani might also... Like, this next turn, if we go Ajani plus or Ajani minus, if they for some reason attack with something, they're gonna want to attack with it, which is gonna give us a pretty good reason to use Swat Away. Swat Away with Planeswalkers. Not something that comes up a ton, but coming up now. Yeah, I think we're pretty far ahead here. From what we've seen so far, we know they have one removal spell. And some really strong cards. But their strong cards, I mean, they have the Erdu, which is just really good. But then their other, like, Figure of Fable and the Adept Water Shaper are kind of situational. So we can just make the same play here and force them to act. Oh, if they go for Wanderbrine Trapper, tapping something down here, we're actually going to get to a Johnny -2 on one of their things. Probably the Trapper, but doesn't look like they're going to. So for now, let's just make the same play. Oh. Rib swap. Okay. That's a bit annoying, but we still have very good attacks here, especially with the buff available from the Timid Shieldbearer. And they're just gonna block. So we could activate the Shieldbearer, kill the Volter, and they would take 7 damage. Or we could swat away the Volter or the Trapper have them bounce. They take 5. But on tempo, that play isn't great. Or we could just let this go through, play a Johnny, plus it, hold up, swat away. They take 5 down to 6. They have the Vaulter, but we're not necessarily threatening lethal. So it's a lot harder to make use of everything. I think in the long run, it's actually going to be better to just do this and get the bigger creature off the field. Go ahead and play this land out. And pass. Because over the next couple turns, like let's say they play Erdu this turn. We can swat it away, but then it would just go back on top. Omni-Changeling isn't as scary. See what they bounce. Might just be the Shapeshifter. The Wander Brine. Okay, that's a nice one. That's a really nice one. So do we want to trade here? I think we should definitely be playing the Erdu. The real question this turn is, do we attack with Rhymekin and trade it for Wanderbrine Trapper? Yes. Because otherwise they can tap down Erdu. So let's do that. Assume they'll trade with the 2-1 rather than the 3-2. Yeah, they kind of just need as much as they power and toughness as they can get on board. Then we can do this. Do this. And still have this swat away in case they play a blocker. Again, we've really only seen the one removal spell, and now we've seen the Crib Swap as well, but Crib Swap is another, like, kind of a tell that you don't have a lot of removal in your deck. We've drawn 3 lands back to back, and they did miss a land drop, so we know their hand is all spells. Question is, are those spells good enough? Good that they did feel pressured enough to get this Changeling out. Gathering Stone, not one we care about a lot. Choose Merfolk. Do they hit? Second Omni-Changeling. Dude, their deck is good. Their deck is good. Are they getting in? No. Okay. And now we should just win, even if they have, like, a removal spell for this Erdu, or, like, a way to get flying. We have Swat Away. It's basically a counter spell. Right? There's no flying there. And yeah, win the match. Okay. Really close one, but opponent stumbled game 3. Kind of let us run away with the victory. And yeah, 2-0. I think the Timid Shield Bearer play was kind of the big moment here. But I do think, I don't know, it was going to die, so just getting the value out of your cards while you have them. These will get value later in the game. But Johnny has kind of been underperforming. I guess part of the reason is because they had the one Adept Water Shaper that fully counters it. But yeah, generally, just get value from your cards. Like, they played really well in recognizing that the Shield Bearer was going to be an issue, and so they aggressively traded with it both times. But at least in that game, the fact that it was still able to get the value and keep me ahead on cards meant I was pretty safe a lot of the time to be able to push my advantage. So yeah, the more cards you end up with in hand, the kind of the better you know you've played that game, as long as you're winning. But move on to the next one. 2-0 and up against Slacks, who is a really strong limited player, so gonna be a hard match. Starting off with a mulligan on a 1-lander. Gotta do what you gotta do. And yeah, gonna put back the Feastling here. Maybe I can do some Block Imposter on my Eclipsed Murrow stuff. And don't want to put back a 2-drop when it's my only one. Gonna be pretty nice with the Flock Imposter too, to get some nice surveil value from the Unwelcome Sprite. Look at this as soon as I put back the Prideful Feastling, just pretend it's not there. All uncommons. What you want to see. So put the Feastling back, and on the play, always a nice place to be. Start off with an island, pass the turn over. Leads on a swamp, passes it back. Nice to find first removal spell here. Also, Blossom Bind pretty good, usually against black decks. Not letting them blight onto stuff can be a pretty big deal a lot of the time. And let's get in for 2, and then we'll go ahead and play this Eclipsed Murrow, and hopefully find, really any merfolk is fine with me. Or land. Take an island. Yeah, that's another reason these cards are so strong here. You're always going to play them in your 2-color decks. Like, even if I didn't have a ton of merfolk here, I would still play this card just because, it's a 3-mana 2/3 that finds you a land. That's pretty good stats. Blight Rot on my Unwelcome Sprite. And I'll just go ahead and get in for 2. Gonna Flock Imposter, take it nice and slow, bounce this Eclipsed Murrow, and just try and get as much value as I can. Lead on 3 swamps. But could just be a had the forest the whole time, no reason to play it type of situation. We can maybe deduce there's not a lot of double green in this deck. Mills 3 elves. Okay. Let's go ahead and play out the Flock Imposter. Bounce our Eclipsed Murrow. And we'll play it. Now we kind of want to find a land. And, oh wow. I mean, we've already put 2 lands on the bottom. I think we have to take island here. Unfortunately, say goodbye to our Disruptor of Currents. And I think I'm just going to Blossom Bind this. The body on it is kind of getting in the way of this 2/3 getting in. So I guess that doesn't matter the most. I don't really want to be taking a ton of damage. Get tempoed out. But we've only seen elves so far. Alright. I think we're just gonna get in with this one so that we can go Erdu into Creature still. Give up on 2 damage to put a 2/2 into play. Usually a good thing to do, especially when we still have a lot to do with our mana. There is a Rooftop Percher. I mean, I'm probably just going to get that out of the way and get in for a bunch of damage. Say no. But, I mean, it's kind of holding back quite a few things. He doesn't have any good attacks or good blocks if I get this out of the way. It guarantees at least 9 damage. And then he can trade with a 2/2. Yeah. Oh, is he going to do? Is he not going to do? Nope. Taking 11 down to 6. So we have lethal in the air this next turn. Although our ground stuff is kind of getting outclassed pretty quickly. That's okay. No thanks there. And yeah, even if somehow he doesn't die here, could be another Blight Rot. Looks like what it is. Thing that counters on Erdu. We're still going to be able to play this out for 5 and Unexpected Assistance with our 5 creatures here, or 4 creatures in 1 land here. Always so backbreaking when this is the last card in hand. Don't even have to show it though. Nice game 1 victory of, yeah, just kind of flew over and got it done that way. Prideful Feastling. Maybe not at its best here. Still seems like it should be fine. Did have that 1 reach creature that we saw. Is there a way for us to, like, kind of get around that? Is there anything good? Because that seems like probably something that's going to be annoying, but I think we have enough just bounce. Um, maybe again the Vaulter is good since I feel like I'm gonna want to be the aggressor here. Or it's possible Unwelcome Sprite should just come in over like the Sneakling. Maybe that should have been something that we had the whole time. I don't know. Unwelcome Sprite has been really, really strong. Then let's try cutting that for the Vaulter. Well, we don't have really any... I don't know. We don't have a ton of stuff that the Vaulter is good with. Maybe we just rather have the Feastling? They're the Sneakling? I think we'll keep the Feastling for now. Have our Merfolk. And eat them too. Be a good hand. Again, I wish I had a Merfolk Lord. That'd be really good in this deck. But can't always get what you want. Our deck is still really strong, so okay with it. See what 2-drop he has this time. The Bristlebane Battler is pretty scary. It's a Morkant's Eyes, also pretty scary. But we do have a couple answers to it in hand. Let's reveal the other one, since that's probably what we're going to play next turn. There's 2 elves already in the yard, although both of those are pretty scary ones that I don't really want to go up against, so I'm okay to see them milled for now. Let's get in with this. Immediately trading. Makes sense. And we'll just play a Silvergill Peddler. Maybe loot away some of these 2-drops and continue to get in. Maybe we'll bounce something this turn. We'll see what looks good. Nope. Opponent's going to kill the Peddler. And I guess we'll just play all our 2-drops. Start with the Preacher. Behold a Merfolk. And get in for a point of damage. Gonna want to kill this the turn before they can activate it, but it kind of seems like they're going all in on it right now. 4 Rooftop Percher is here as well. Don't really want to just keep bouncing that. Let's go ahead and just Liminal Hold the Morkant's Eyes. And I think we'll find something to do with this Rooftop Percher eventually. Chronicle of Victory on Elf, I assume. Well, it's so bad. It's so bad to... I mean, we kind of have to Cleansing that, but we still can't attack unless we play this Recluse and bounce their life gain creature. I don't know. I guess it's not the worst. Like, we kind of just have to use our cards and hope to get a little aggressive. But yeah, I see why he's 2-0 here. There's the Rooftop Percher again. I mean, we can start getting in with the Recluse. Only 3 damage. Land. Let's do it. Yeah, he's just gonna take it. And replay the Chronicle here, I suppose. Would love Blossom Bind off the top. But overall, like, this is gonna be kind of a hard game to win. Just this one Rooftop Percher is jamming up the board real nice, and as soon as he plays one creature, it's gonna turn into more, and we will just die. Up a game, so there's still stuff to be done here. We know about 2 Vinebred Brawlers, 2 Blight Rots. Keep in mind, this gives things first strike. Oh, goodness. Yeah, the changelings are super good at making sure you have enough creature types of whatever it is you need. I don't know, maybe we should have just tried to play through the Morkant's Eyes, but it kind of felt like that was the big thing he was doing there. Block Imposter doesn't do a ton. Just pass back and die. I guess see as much of his deck as he's willing to show. But yeah, I think we're about around 0% to win this one. It's crazy that this isn't... Oh, it is Spell of the Chosen Type. Okay. You don't get to draw a card off any creature. I kind of thought it was. First strike and trample, so we can't even, like, do anything cool here. I think we're just taking it. I guess we can Flock Imposter. Do we have another answer to this Chronicle? I don't think so. Okay. Take 8 damage. Oh, I guess we have the bounce creature. So we might be able to do something in combat. For now, let's just play this. Bounce our Rhymekin Recluse. Although, I guess we don't really want to replay this on anything, so maybe we should have just done nothing. Okay. Getting Blight Rotted anyway. Sure. And we find a land. Gonna scoop it up here. Just kind of dead to attacks. Alright. Disruptor was the next card, but I don't think it would have been good enough there. This does not, only hits creatures, so don't really care about that. Nothing over here. And we could board into a green deck, but our green deck isn't very good, even though we have a lot of answers to that sort of thing. Prideful Feastling doesn't feel like it's doing enough here. Maybe just Glamourmite, and we'll try and tempo you out. Could definitely work. Game 3 on the play. Let's try and run them over quick. The plan. Got 2 into 3 into bounce creature. Seems like a good start for us. And maybe got a little too focused on the Morkant's Eyes there. Now that we know about the Chronicle of Victory, we're a little less likely to get rid of our best answer to it that early, but... Iron Shield Elf. Sure. Well, I think it's right to just bounce that and start getting in. Like to be pretty aggressive, and then I would like to find some flyers. Although I'd kind of like to be aggressive and find flyers at the same time. We'll see if we can do that. The assistance is going to do a pretty good job. Are you missing lands? Nice. I think I'm just happy enough to do this. Oh, I guess we did see Blossoming Defense, actually. I should have thought about it a little more, but... yeah. Pretty happy to get in for 5 here. See what comes this next turn. Blight Rot on my 3/2, sure. And... I'm gonna just play this out. Get in for 2 more. Put you down to 11 early on. Pass it back. Kind of crazy how the card I'm most scared of is still the 5 mana 3/3 flyer that gains life. All my removal is bounce based, so it's really hard for me to do anything against. Alright, let's Behold a Merfolk before we attack. And gonna just attack with the Feastling. Hold up both of these. is a little annoying because I do want to be pressuring as hard as I can, but overall, this, like, if this Disruptor comes down and bounces like a 6-drop next turn, it's gonna kind of just win the game on the spot. Bitter Bloom Bearer. Yeah, it's a good one. I think we're just gonna bounce it now. Not give any chances to make tokens with it. And we have pretty good answers to anything that could come down next turn. Once he takes all this damage next turn, it's also going to be less likely the Bitter Bloom Bearer does a lot, unless you have some way to gain life. Don't want to let you start getting good trades. Light Rot again on the Disruptor this time? No, it's a Vine-Bred Brawler. And another Vine-Bred Brawler. Okay. So we need 3 creatures back to block. Or back to hold up this unexpected assistance. So we could trade 1, 2... Yeah, I think we're just getting in with our 3 bigger guys. We'll trade the stuff off, and then try and get in some more damage next turn, too. This should get at least a little bit of damage in, because the Changeling Wayfinder doesn't have a good block here. Then we're going to be able to Sprite plus Unexpected Assistance. We'll get the Surveil, and hopefully draw into, like, more bounce and removal. I guess we have the Cleansing left, and that's kind of it outside of this hold. So not a ton of removal left. We got to do our best to just get damage in. Yeah, blocks as expected. Play the Sprite out and pass. Another Wayfinder. That's kind of annoying, actually. It's a swamp. And Morkant's Eyes, so... kind of everything he could want here. Well, go for this. And... okay. Do we want both of those? It's a lot of tokens in play. Going wide could be a good way to win this one. I think we do want that. Both of them. Let's think about what blocks he's going to have to make next turn. Because what we're probably going to end up having to do is we can attack with everything. We can block our 2/1 and our 1/1. I guess we probably don't attack with the 1/1. We attack with these 3 creatures. He goes double block the Preacher, take 2, maybe take 4, or maybe try and trade with the Unwelcome Sprite. And then we hold the Eyes and try and get his bunch of creatures in play. So yeah, let's keep both of these. Draw 3. We'll still just discard the land. And... Shield Bearer is also pretty nice here. We'll make the play we talked about, where we get in with these 3 creatures. Probably has to, like, trade with the Bitter Bloom Bearer, which is fine with me. Double block there. Yep, he's making the blocks that we said he would. So he takes 2. And now we will get rid of the Morkant's Eyes. And just try to go wide around him, pretty much. I think it's a pretty good plan. And yeah, if he has nothing, then makes it an even better plan. Well, do we want to go wide or just play a big guy? I guess we could be scared of the, like, reanimate all creature types thing. But I think we'll just play the big guy and pass. I don't really need to trade this off for the Changeling Wayfinder. I'm not super worried about that creature. Chronicle of Victory not even being enough here. Well, it kind of feels like it wouldn't be enough, at least by itself. Of course, if you go Chronicle into like triple 2-drop, that might be enough, but we're going pretty wide, so it might not be. Yeah, this allows us to kind of get in with everybody, forces a chump if he has nothing. Did you find the Chronicle? Or are you deciding what the best thing to name with it is? Celestial Reunion. Okay, so you can tutor up any 4-drop elf. That one makes sense. And, oh, I'm at 38 life. I did not even notice that. And able to kill my big guy. Yikes. That was a pretty good turn. I will give him that one. Alright, so if we play Shield Bearer plus Festival, next turn he has 2 blockers, probably will end with 3, and we won't have quite enough to get in. If we play Silvergill, he blocks that. We have 4 1/1s. I mean, if he has nothing else, this is enough to push through the damage we'll need to win next turn. At least, like, no other creature or relevant spell, but we'll see. He has Blight Rot. Okay. Can't really attack. And we lose 2 things. Put him to 3, so that's not good enough. We'll just pass and start activating this festival. Very glad to have it here, although if it was another flyer, that would also be pretty good. We attacking? Maybe I mill him out with my 38 life over here. Maybe that's enough. No creature. Okay. Just Clashan Festival. And Clashan, not sure the exact pronunciation on this card. I guess the thing I'm most scared of is, like, blowing this up. How many elves does it have? I guess there's only 3 elves right now. It would be 4. Okay, well, that's a pretty good one. Yeah, I think we're just gonna do that. Get that out the way. And I guess we'll do this pre-combat in case he kills both our merfolk. See if he puts it bottom, top, whatever else. Blossoming Defense is it? I don't know. Puts it on top. Play this Beholding a Merfolk. Behold! Merfolk. And yeah, I'm gonna put you to 1, or at least attempt to. We haven't seen any more removal. What is this? Okay, so he had the aim, but now has to use it to make a 2/2. And I believe it's still lethal next turn, unless you have 2 creatures to play. Surprised you still didn't do that on Morken's Eyes. Maybe it wasn't enough? I think it would have been enough. Either way, we win the match. Awesome stuff. I guess, no, it wouldn't have been enough, because you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you'd be at 1. I'd have 6 creatures, so yeah, not quite. But, well, I guess you could have put the thing on top into the yard, and then had 6, had exactly enough, but then we're just waiting for this Clashan to kill you. Oh, close match, we'll take it, especially against Slacks, very good player. And move on. Last match, let's see if we can close it out with another win. Got a nice hand with a nice curve. Another important thing when building a sealed deck, gotta have a good curve. You win a lot of games just going 2 into 3 if your opponent stumbles at all. 2 into 3 into 4. So yeah, build your deck in a way that that happens as often as possible. Maximize your win rate. And find another Feastling. Yeah, I think this is good to note your mistakes. Having these Feastlings in the deck, I mean, I've been talking a lot about having a game plan. I wanted all the Merfolk, but I think a Glamourmite or another Unwelcome Sprite actually would have worked a lot better with my game plan, so this card has been good for me, but this probably just isn't the spot for it. All right, opponent probably has some kind of crazy Vivid deck over there. Let's just get the Sprite down and try and start pushing through some damage. They go basic land cycle. Not the scariest thing. But yeah, with 2 unwelcome sprites, that's another thing we probably could have just built around, is like having a Glamourmite in the deck and just being able to go turn 2 Sprite, turn 3 Glamourmite. Like, it'd be a lot better than this Feastling here. We'd be getting more aerial pressure in, but for now we'll play the cards we have. And yeah, opponent hasn't been doing a ton over there outside of just setting up their mana, which is kind of scary. There's a Luminalisk. Yeah, I wish I had a flyer here. So even if we go, like, Mentor here, we're not going to be able to do anything unless we don't attack with this. So let's just build up the board a little bit more. And then hopefully we find a land next turn and can go, like, double 2-drop plus hold up one of these 5-drop Convoke spells. That would be pretty good. And we'd get to Surveil. Bloom Tender. Okay, right now that has 2 colors to tap for. They did not sacrifice Evolving Wilds. Interesting. Suppose we want to do this. Behold a Merfolk. And I think what I'm going to do is on upkeep, bounce their Bloom Tender. See if they sacrifice the wilds this time. They do. Okay. Makes sense. Getting red. And yeah, let's go like this. We get to Surveil 2. We stop them from having a ton of mana this turn. Okay, I think we can get rid of the Sky Swimmer. We do want lands, but it seems really hard to put away Blossom Bind in this situation. It's just so good against the Mollusk. We'll bounce Bloom Tender. They play a Shine Striker. Right, we find that. I think we want to go Assistance. Try and dig for a land. But we can just tap down these 4 this turn. Just in case. And discard a Johnny. No, I think we can discard the Preacher here. Isn't going to be super necessary to do what we need to do. Tap down the Mollusk and get in with our 3/3. Opponent takes 3. Makes sense. They're able to stop some of the damage, or stop some of the damage coming in from these other creatures later. Play Gristle Glutton. Although they tap their 1 green, so they can't play Bloom Tender now, but maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe they had something else they were going to do. Sunderflock. Yeah, that's something else. Certainly something else. Not sure how much it's really going to matter here. I mean, the biggest thing is kind of just we need to find lands. But we'll go Sprite, Silvergill, and then we can hold up the bounce creature this turn and Surveil 2, try and find planes. Not sure why they played this Gristle Glutton first. Okay. Lighting to loot. Fine. We'll put that second from the top. I mean, if we bounce one of these creatures, maybe we just bounce Shine Striker, swing with everybody. Oh yeah, what we can do is bounce Shine Striker and then put the Blossom Bind on top, although is it better to get... Oh, I think we just want Blossom Bind. So we can do this, bounce Shine Striker, because I mean, if their next turn is recast Shine Striker, that's really okay. We don't care that much about the cards drawn. And then we can go Blossom Bind that and attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1 damage short of lethal. Seems pretty unlikely that they're going to be able to do anything, though. I don't know. Maybe there's a removal spell here as well. Noggling the mind. That's fine. So now they'll go to 10, I believe. Or 3. Sorry, they'll take 10, go to 3. And we can play this out. Behold a Merfolk. And yeah, it's just going to be hard for them to like gain life or have enough blockers to do anything here. We're also going to be able to Rhymekin Recluse to bounce another thing. They start with a loot. Or a rummage. Fun to bounce Shine Striker. That's a good time. Yeah, I don't care. Get your value. Okay. So I kind of want to like bring in all the elementals I can to get around this stupid thing. I think we definitely want this. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's bad. I do think Prideful Feastling should go. We'll bring in the Spikeling to keep like our elemental count high now, I guess. But I think we do still have enough stuff. I kind of want to like try out this plan of playing the flash creatures and flyers and just see if these cards are like just better on their own than some of the Merfolk synergies we have. So maybe we can cut. This card has been great for me. We'll just cut the Feastlings. I mean, they haven't been that good. And what else do I want to cut for that? I guess the question is, do we still have enough for the Silvergills? And we might not. I guess that was like kind of the big reason. Maybe we cut that here. We just can't really afford to cut a Merfolk, but it feels like cutting anything else is just worse than cutting this. Okay. Yeah, maybe I was right the first time, but we'll try a couple more 2-drops here is, I guess, the plan, just because the Feastlings have been underperforming so much. I don't know, they're bodies, which is kind of enough to get it done a lot of the time in this deck with just the amount of tempo we have. Alright, so it's definitely a keep, I think. Need to find a white source fairly soon, but we're kind of like doing a nice job of, if we do find the white source, just playing this as a 3-mana flash flyer that surveils 2 is pretty good. White source. Feisty Spikeling. Yeah, just need white sources. That's this game. That's Magic for you, though. Hopefully they don't have one of those elemental nut draws where they play a Flame Braider on turn 2 and I can't possibly win. What? Avoid, avoid. Cool. They didn't play a Flame Braider on 2. But yeah, I think I'm just going to play this one out. And, I mean, it could just get, like, removed here. No, they just cycle a Zealot, sure. And we didn't see, like, a ton of early flyers or reach creatures. So, I'm just gonna, I don't know, get my aerial assault going, surveil 2, try and find another white source so I can play a couple 2s in one turn. This Shield Bearer plus Festival is looking pretty nice. It's the little synergies that count in Sealed. There's a Mollusk. Let's go for this in response. That only gains 1 life. If you want both of these, we'll go top, top, and not return anything. Draw our planes, and I think just gonna slam the Distractor this turn. I don't want to go double 2-drop, because that's going to make my next turn worse when I draw that Rhymekin Recluse. Plus, this just applies pressure a little bit better than the 2/2/1s would into a 2/4, even though I could bounce it. Still not the best creature to bounce just because of the life gain, but I think the tempo of it might make up for that, especially when they only have like 1 color right now. It's a bomb. Are we getting Thunderflocked? We are. Annoying. Yeah. Okay, so I guess we could bounce the Mollusk and play a 2-drop, but then the Mollusk just kind of takes over, although we could play the Sprite so they can't attack with the Thunderflock and kind of go for a board stall position. Maybe find a land so we can play this and something else, use our mana a little better. Yeah, let's do that. I don't know, I just want to get all this stuff on board as fast as possible, so using my mana in a way that, like, kind of puts him in a harder position seems like the way to go. Thunderflock. Card's really strong. If I had a counterspell, I would indeed board it in. That's pretty scary, too. We draw. Planes. So we can get in with our flyers. This doesn't target itself. Can't do anything too crazy, but the big issue is that Luminolisk is going to gain 4 life now, which puts a damper on us kind of trying to tempo/aggro them out here. Although we really just do need to find like a removal spell to get that thing off the board. But we'll play the Shield Bearer and the Distractor so that we can maybe get some good attacks in next turn. Okay, they're getting in with the Thunderflock. Oh, getting in with both. That's interesting. So I don't want to double block, because I could get blown out by a removal spell. But I also can't just, like, do nothing, because the Mollusk is going to gain him up to 15, and then I'll be able to attack and get through, at most, 13 damage, and then I won't have a blocker. So it kind of feels like a forced double block, which is super weird. Or the other option is I just have to start leaving back flyers to chump the Thunderflock. Then if I'm not getting in enough damage, this is just going to be able to bounce other stuff. Yeah, I mean, a really good attack. Very, very good attack. Because it's like a forced double block, and then if I don't do it, yeah, this can happen, and I lose 2 creatures. He goes Land Mollusk. I'm just so dead here. Just a Gristle Glutton, okay. And that next turn isn't quite lethal. So we'll get in with everybody, I think. Can afford to take one more hit from the Sunderflock. Again, this doesn't boost itself into the air, right? Another target creature. So even these two together would just be 7. Blocking. So I can pump, deal you... No, I can't pump because then... Well, I can pump, deal you 6, and then play a Spikeling, chump there. You'll go up to... gain 4 life. So go up to 9, and I will not have lethal for sure. Well, will I? Go up to 9, and I'll have 1, 2, 3 attackers. I'd have to top deck removal, which doesn't seem likely, and then I'm probably dead. Whereas if I let you take 4, you're going to gain the 4 back. I honestly think this play puts me in a better spot overall. I'm just kind of unlikely to be able to win this game. I died a removal here, but I don't know. I feel like otherwise I'm not going to be able to beat the cards that he has. But okay, we'll die here. Go to game 3 and try not to get Sunderflocked, I suppose. And maybe we do just want like more elementals, because getting all our other stuff bounced was pretty brutal there. I guess we kind of have enough. I don't know. The Prideful Feastling doesn't seem super strong here. Guess we could bring it in. Maybe the Clashan Festival is just kind of bad into that. Yeah, okay, let's do that. Have one more elemental. Sure. Not the greatest hand. Would I prefer the Clashan Festival to this Feastling? Doesn't feel like it matters a ton. They're both 3-drops that put 2 power on board. But yeah, I'm gonna try and win this one by curving out. My goal here. Right, I think I'm gonna start with the Spikeling in case I draw another like white card. So I can double spell on turn 4. Plus, he hasn't really shown me anything that blocks it super well. I guess there was the Gristle Glutton. But doesn't have it here. I guess this is working out better because, yeah, I drew another white 2-drop. Get in for 2. And kind of have 2, 3, 4, 5, even if it is like a bit of a janky one, because we can go Shield Bearer activation as our 5-drop, essentially. The Sizzling Changeling. Right, so just gonna get in with the Spikeling this turn. He blocks, that means he probably needs to find a land. He did think about it. Worth noting. Yeah, we'll just play these guys out and pass the turn. Hoping to not see the Luminolisk here. Scuzzback Scrounger. That's fine. I think the activation is actually better than the Blossom Bind. We can save that for when a bigger thing comes down. Kind of has to double block that, yeah. Okay. Not double blocking. The Forest on top. Sure. Pass it back. You can Blight 1. Make your guy a 2/1. And then we know you have a Forest for turn, so up to 5 mana from my opponent. Which is, it's an amount of mana. It's not the scariest amount. We know they can't Sunderflock this turn. We know they can't Kolrath, Shine Striker. Again, they could play the Mollusk, which would be kind of annoying, but we still have good attacks through that this turn. Ashling's Command. Okay, well, the second Wrath in their deck is definitely the absolute worst. I'll say that much. This game just got a lot harder. If possible, even. Peace, dude. Okay. I was not playing around that one. Probably couldn't. I mean, I could have not done anything here. We're gonna play this for sure. We could Blossom Bind the Gristle Glutton, and then they can't put counters on it. So if they wanted to Blight, they'd have to do it on that. It's a weird play, but I think this is actually good enough here. And then we just kind of have to hope to top deck. But this is gonna do well at like applying a lot of pressure, and I do think we want to take advantage of the fact that they were missing land drops. Like they used the Ashling's Command to make treasures. They want to loot here. They want to put -1/-1 counters to make treasures. So if they Blight one here, then they'll have like 5 mana, but they won't have this anymore. So usually I don't think you want to Blossom Bind that. Like it's just kind of a throwing away a good card when you only have one left. But here I do think it is the right play. Weirdly enough. There's an island. Put that second from the top. I am fine to draw that. Swat away. It's kind of nice here, actually, because they're gonna have to put counters on something to make treasures here, and then we're gonna be able to like get rid of whatever their big thing for a turn is, then draw our 4/3, and hopefully still just keep pushing damage. Yeah, they're gonna Blight one onto the Changeling and hopefully use all their mana here. The Evolving Wilds. They're doing a good job of drawing their lands. I assume some kind of 6-drop. Yeah, the Shine Striker. So let's just put that on top of their deck. Now, wish this was Subtlety. It'd be a lot better as Subtlety. But even if their next turn, like their best play is play Shine Striker, they're gonna be able to like -3/-0 it. And then they're still not gonna have very good blocks. So let's do this. This turn was already basically figured out. Unfortunate that we have 5 islands here, excuse me. Because if we top deck like our good white bombs, we're not going to be able to do anything. Oh, Convoking? What is this? Terrifying, I assume. Omni Changeling on Feastling, okay. And Tweeze. Ah, jeez. That's real good here. We know about the Shine Striker on top, although there's a good one to find. Do this because we're more likely to draw planes. Go to Johnny. Classic. But yeah, doing okay here. That was definitely like the best draw on the deck. Issue is it's going to be hard to just kill them outright here. Okay. Their Shine Striker draw 4. That's pretty darn good. And they attack, block, mine as well, but yeah, the life gain is super annoying here. They have a combat trick? Their deck didn't seem like a combat trick deck. See? Giant Fall to gain 2 more life. There's a land, an island at that. It's not great to see. Ugh, we put back a lot of good stuff Do find a looter. And we'll just pass. With more Convoke cards, the looter might be able to do something. But if they just go like Sunderflock here, we're probably pretty tempoed out of this game. There it is. Yeah, they get the Glutton back. They get their Scuzz back on full power and toughness. And they have a Changeling Wayfinder. Their deck is really, really strong. Okay. So let's play this. Yes, get the Sneakling. And then gonna have to Liminal Hold Sunderflock. Hope they flood out pretty hard. Although we know about the Gristle Glutton in hand too, so that won't just happen. See if they make a treasure. Our deck isn't like necessarily suited for this type of long game. We really want to get them low early, and this essentially a 5-mana Prideful Feastling. Or I guess it was a little less. It was they convoked it out, but yeah, this has gained them 6 life now. Whereas if they were at 4, this would feel a lot more doable if I can just like go wide. But 5 creatures get +5/+5, so now I have to chump too. Okay. I die anyway? No. Alright, GG's. End up 3-1, losing to a really strong Elementals deck, but overall, awesome sealed pool, and we'll take the points that we get, the qualifier points, so good stuff to everybody we played against, good stuff to me, and hopefully you guys learned a little bit of something from this. Hopefully it helps you over this weekend to win some boxes or get some qualifier points, whatever you want to do. I know I'll be partaking in that event, maybe have some videos out on it too, although those might be a little more well, we'll see. Yeah, but coming up on the channel some point tomorrow morning, as I'm recording this, I'm gonna do some focus testing with blue-black midrange against Andre Strosky on his stream, so that'll be a lot of fun. And then I'll have a video out on that later, so kind of just about the lessons versus blue-black matchup. For all you people super interested in the blue-black midrange stuff I've been posting, definitely check out that. And if you're into sealed, or I mean, the thing about Pro Tours versus other tournaments is they have a lot of limited in them. There's also a lot of limited spotlights coming up, so sealed is a competitive format as of now, and of course the Arena Direct. So hopefully this helped. If you have any more questions, leave a comment below, and I do my best to answer what I can with my sealed knowledge. And yeah, thanks again for watching. If you enjoy the content that's coming out, make sure you subscribe, like the video, all that good stuff, and I'll see you around.